Lauren Laraya Duluviet and her maid Rita Farron are seized by bandits, with one of them about to mishandle Lauren. This is until a large armored knight named Ark arrives and swiftly kills them with a single swing of his sword. Prior to this incident, Ark wakes up in front of a tree and feels disturbed by his circumstances. After calming himself, he evaluates his condition and his gear, realizing that he is within the body of his game character Ark. Remembering that he fell asleep after playing the game, Ark tests his Wyvern Slash move and is astonished by its remarkable power, leading him to conclude that he is super strong. Ark casts a gate spell to teleport to a different location, but ends up teleporting off a nearby cliff. Ark opts to use a different spell called Dimension Move. Safely landing by a river stream, Ark removes his helmet to drink from it, only to discover his head is that of a skeleton. Ark realizes that if he enters a town without his helmet, he would be seen as a monster. Therefore, he plans to keep a low profile and teleports to a nearby town. And after some exploration, Ark comes across a woman arguing with an investigator regarding his failure to gather the information she commissioned. It turns out the woman is an elf, which surprises Ark, but he soon loses track of her. However, he then discovers the town's mercenary guild and, upon entering, attempts to obtain a license. At first, the male receptionist asserts that it would be pointless for him to acquire one as he seems adequately employed already due to his armor. Thus, Ark creates an excuse, which the receptionist accepts, but informs him that he will need to pass a trial before getting one. The trial requires that Ark return with proof of the subjugation of either a beast, monster, or bandit. Without delay, Ark exits the guild. Afterward, Ark takes down a few boars and then an orc. Carrying the evidence of his victories, Ark notices a band of robbers encircling a carriage that has slain the guards and is threatening a noblewoman and her maid. Recognizing the sharp contrast between this scenario, the bandits exploit the noblewoman and her maid. We observe Ark again, eliminating the bandits, and this time finishing off the remaining ones with his Wyvern Slash technique. Once the bandits are handled, Ark inquires about the two ladies' names, and when Rita questions if Ark is of noble lineage, promptly, Ark fabricates a story about being a cursed knight on a quest to find a cure for his affliction, but keeps that detail to himself for the time being. As Rita and Lauren venture into the woods to attend to personal matters, Ark incinerates the bandits' corpses with his fire spell and acknowledges his lack of remorse for killing them. Before the ladies come back, Ark plunders the bandits' possessions and makes use of their horses to transport everything. On his way back to town, Ark rides alongside Lauren's carriage. Rita then inquires about Ark's name, and he presents himself as a modest traveler named Ark. Upon returning to the guild, Ark hands in the beasts he has subdued, and is given a rune stone from the orc he defeated, with the receptionist advising him to collect them whenever he vanquishes a monster. Ark receives his license and promptly checks into an inn, having the food that is served there brought to his room. Enjoying the meal and drinks that were offered to him, Ark eagerly anticipates completing some quests the next day. A single mother named Sayona tirelessly supports her two children as she goes to the field each morning when the sun begins to rise. Wishing to assist their mother, Marka drafts a job request seeking help. Eventually, Ark agrees to the job, which involves safeguarding someone while they gather herbs. He arrives at the job site known as Rada Village. When he reaches the location, both Marka and her sister Helena are having breakfast when Ark knocks on the door, and Marka is the one who answers. Instantly taken aback by the imposing figure of Ark, she learns that he accepted their job listing from the Mercenary Guild. Ark is offered tea, and Marka courteously inquires if they can begin right away, to which Ark agrees. On the way to their destination, Ark points out that the job details specified fanged boars have surfaced around the village, making protection necessary. Therefore, Ark questions Marka about her urgency in completing this mission, to which she admits that her mother would return home soon and would disapprove of their actions. She requests that Ark keep this information from her mother, and reveals that her father passed away the previous year, leaving her mother to raise them alone. Her mother took up her father's role in herb gathering, and Marka desires to bring happiness to her mother. This revelation touches Ark's heart. In the fields where certain herbs named Kokora can be found, Marka provides Ark with information about the plant, showcasing her impressive knowledge. Marka then proposes that they go to the nearby Kobumi tree, but some rustling in the bushes catches Ark's attention. Upon checking it out, he discovers an injured green multi-tailed creature. When Ark reaches out, the creature bites his finger, prompting Ark to use healing magic to help it recover from its injury. Overjoyed, the creature joyfully dances around Ark and decides to follow him. Marka proposes that Ark name the creature, and after some deliberation, Ark ultimately chooses the name Panta. Back in the village, a hunter is upset by something he witnessed in the forest that wasn't the typical fanged boar usually found in the woods. Coincidentally, Seona returns to the village and learns from the gatekeeper that Marka departed for the forest earlier that morning, accompanied by a knight. Upon returning to Ark's group, they discover the Kobumi tree in full bloom, and the instant Marka approaches the tree, a giant basilisk emerges from behind it. Observing Panta's distressed behavior toward the creature, Ark infers that the one who hurt her was the monster. Just before the basilisk could stomp on Marka, Ark quickly yanks her out of harm's way and then dodges its toxic fog breath attacks. By analyzing the basilisk's assaults while defending against its paralyzing claws and whip-like tongue, Ark then employs his holy shield of 2 tates to guard against a petrification strike. Subsequently, Ark unleashes his judgment attack that cleaves the monster in half, thus vanquishing it. Delighted that the creature has been defeated, Marka remarks that the villagers will rejoice at the monster's demise, but Ark urges that it be kept confidential, and Marka acknowledges this. Ark then spots a ring around the monster's right ankle that vanishes moments after being seen. It is concluded by Ark that the fanged boars that appeared near the village were attracted there by the basilisk. As luck would have it, one appears before them, and Ark kills it, offering it as a gift to the village. Marka then reunites with her mother Seona, who hugs her daughter, and Ark formally apologizes to Seona for carelessly letting her daughter venture into the forest. The village gatekeeper and hunter then approach Ark and inquire if he encountered the monster that was causing chaos in the forest, but both he and Marka deny it. By dusk, Ark and Panta prepare to depart, and Helena gifts Ark a circlet of flowers. Later that night in the forest, a large contingent of soldiers takes down a giant basilisk on their own. The leader receives a status update regarding the total number of fallen and injured soldiers from his subordinate, and learns that a single individual managed to slay a giant basilisk all by themselves. Meanwhile, Ark relaxes in his room with Panta and ponders tackling a more difficult quest the following day. Ariane's internal dialogue observes how the elf and human treaty is simply a deception at that time, and she yearns for greater power. It was her meeting with a large man clad in silver armor that would alter her fate as she sees Ark with Panta on his shoulder, leaving a cave and readies to confront him. Prior to this encounter, Ark had been pursuing a band of bandits inside the cave, and once they were taken care of, he discovers their stash of treasure. He also notices several cages present, but does not pay attention to them. He is attacked by Ariane, who recognizes him as the elf from the city. Ariane charges Ark with being a bandit, but halts her assault when she spots Panta and identifies her as a spirit creature. This alleviates Ark's suspicion of being a bandit, and Ariane reveals she heard that bandits in the area were hunting elves. Recognizing that the cages he discovered were intended for that purpose, Ark informs Ariane that no elves were found in those cages, and then learns from her that elves command a high price on the slave market. Before Ariane departs, Ark attempts to offer his assistance, but she outright declines and hastily leaves. Despite her refusal, Ark considering it a type of event quest. Back in his inn room, Ark relishes his dinner and reflects on his encounter with Ariane, who had not introduced herself. Yet he remains hopeful to see her again and plans to look for her the next day. Warping into a location that he had suspected was near the elven forest, Panta then perceives some presence nearby. It turns out to be a young elven girl attempting to flee from her captors, but she is quickly apprehended. The previously mentioned Udalan was the leader of the bandit captors, who not only mocks the girl for trying to get away, but also stabs her in the leg as well. Ark observes everything as it happens, and before he can act, Ariane appears and takes down a couple of bandits with one swift motion. One of the bandits identifies Ariane as a dark elf, a rare variety of elf that would bring a significant price, to which Udalan claims he has no interest in her, and that the bandits can do whatever they wish with her. A large group of bandits then encircles Ariane, but she swiftly overcomes them, and one of the remaining bandits recognizes Ariane as an elven warrior. After Ariane defeats nearly all of the remaining bandits, she finds herself in a tight spot when Udalan takes one of the elven girls hostage. Seeing a chance to assist, Ark sneaks up behind Udalan and uses his armor lariat attack against him, knocking him out. The remaining bandits are then handled by Ariane. The elven captives are saved, and Ariane notices that the captives were wearing mana-eating collars. Unaware of what such a collar is or does, Ariane explains that it inhibits their ability to utilize their spirit magic. Ark casts Uncurse on one of the elven girls and then Heal to mend the wounds on the girl. This action leaves Ariane astonished at how he was able to achieve such a feat, and Ariane summons her spirit creature, a whispering fowl, to convey a message about the rescued elves. Eventually, a few cloaked elves arrive at the scene and take the formerly captive elven girls. With the elven girls gone, Ariane reflects on the skills and abilities that Ark exhibited and demands to know who he truly is, but Ark insists that he is of no significance. Just as the Whispering Fowl returns and conveys a message from someone stating that the main perpetrator's headquarters is located in Diento and that they are planning to act soon. In light of this information, Ariane requests to hire Ark for his services. Ariane seeks to employ Ark, who thinks that her friends will be wary of him, yet she is confident that they will accept him just as she has. Thus, Ark agrees to Ariane's proposal. Using the spell Gate, Ark transports the group to Lydal River, which astonishes Ariane. Upon arriving in the city, they wait for Danka, whose stern expression takes Ark by surprise. Ariane officially introduces Danka to Ark, and he observes that Danka also has Maple in his name, leading him to think they are related. Ariane then explains the naming conventions of elves to Ark. Danka then reveals the location of their target area within the theater district. They agree to wait until it is dark when security will be at its weakest. With this in mind, Ark and Panta step away for an hour to get ready. Once Ark is gone, Danka expresses surprise that she has sought assistance from an outsider. In her admission, she confesses that she was capable of attempting to save the captured elves and asserts that her sister would have easily succeeded. Danka then remarks that one day she should achieve the same recognition as her sister, but questions whether they can truly rely on Ark, and she confirms this. Meanwhile, Ark is depicted as having redeemed the bandit bounties and valuables. Now possessing some gold, Ark purchases a meal for himself and relishes it with Panta. In another location, the whereabouts of the captive elves are disclosed, and one of the elves declares that they will be saved and that the bandits will face consequences. However, the bandits disregard the warning. That evening, the group makes their way to their destination while being followed by an unidentified individual. Utilizing Dimension Move, Ark transports the group to the rooftop of where they need to go. After Ariane has difficulty entering the building, Ark employs Dimension Move once more. While exploring the interior of the building, they discover that several of the bandits have been slain. Subsequently, they all disperse to examine the building to cover a larger area. Ark uses Dimension Move to mask the sound of his movements as he navigates the building, and when he encounters more deceased bandits in a room, he is confronted by a ninja. Delighted by this encounter, the ninja inquires of Ark how he recognizes she is a ninja, but relaxes upon seeing Panta. The ninja concludes that Ark is there to rescue the enslaved elves and hands him a roll of paper, which she asserts will be helpful to him, indicating the location of the elves. The ninja informs Ark that there are 2 additional elves being held captive in the Lord's palace. The documents that the ninja provided to Ark turn out to be contracts for elven slaves, which Ark then shows to both Ariane and Danka, while noting that there are 2 more elves in the Lord's palace. When asked where he discovered the papers, Ark states that he found them on one of the bandits present. Just then, 3 bandits enter the room where Ark's group is located and are quickly dealt with by Ariane. In the basement area, the elven girls are liberated by Ark's group, and the elves express their gratitude for the rescue. Ark casts Gate, and upon stepping outside, he notices the magic-eating collars around the elves' necks and uses Uncurse to remove them. This action impresses Danka. As the elves thank Ark, Danka assures Ariane that their mission is not yet finished and that he will escort the elves home safely. He then leaves Ark and Ariane to handle the rescue of the remaining 2 elves imprisoned in the Lord's palace. Ark subsequently uses Dimension Move to arrive at the Lord's palace. Observing them from a distance were the ninja and another ninja, and she remarks that they will meet again in the future.
Having 2 elven women named Sina and Una tied up on his bed, Triton got ready to take advantage of them, but first scolds his son, Udalan, for his recent shortcomings. Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane successfully touch down on Triton's mansion and attract the attention of a couple of guards. Using his wyvern slash, Ark cuts the bell there to create a loud diversion, enabling them to break into the place. At that moment, Celsica informs Triton about the intruders in the mansion, and when he asserts that the invaders are monsters, the door behind him bursts open. As the smoke begins to clear and settle, Ark and Ariane emerge from the newly formed opening in the wall, declaring their intention to rescue the captured elves. Ariane then incapacitates Triton, while Ark frightens Udalan and discovers a concealed room in the process. Ark intended to tell Ariane about this discovery, but she and the other elves were much too engaged in punishing Triton, which annoys both Ark and Panta. Just then, the mansion's guards arrive, and Ariane casts a fire spell on her sword to confront them, requesting that the elves meet with Danka. The 2 elves then depart, and Ariane goes to check on Ark, who is looting the gold from the hidden room. Caught in the act, Ark claims that he is preventing the Diento family from reconstructing in the future, and Ariane accepts this explanation. Multiple bombs are detonated throughout the mansion, leading Ark and Ariane to teleport to a secure location. Although the reward that Ariane had prepared for him was insufficient, she proposes that Ark join her in the Elven lands, where additional elves are being held captive. The suggestion excites Ark internally. However, he worries about whether someone like him would be welcomed in those lands, and Ariane acknowledges that she would need to consult the elders. In response to this, Ark states he can never remove his armor, and Ariane inquires why, to which Ark asks if she would draw her sword against him if she saw his face, and she assures him she wouldn't. Therefore, Ark removes his helmet to reveal his true appearance and provides a brief account of his past, stating that he is cursed, which has altered his looks. Concluding he is not undead, and placing her trust in him for assisting her thus far, Ariane declares that he will be accepted in the land of elves. Additionally, the elder might be able to assist him in returning to his original form. In response, the two formally introduce themselves and shake hands to seal their newly established relationship. In Olaf, the capital city of the Roden Kingdom, King Carlin conducts a meeting with his children, Princes Sect and Dakaris, and Princess Uriarna, regarding the recent happenings related to Triton. Sect states that Triton was unlawfully trafficking elves to the eastern nation, which Dakaris denies, but Sect insists that Dakaris is defending him. The remark angers Dakaris, who becomes defensive, but is interrupted by King Carlin, who speaks in support of Dakaris, while asserting that a thorough investigation is necessary before reaching any conclusions. King Carlin then solicits Uriana's perspective on the issue, and she asserts that she has heard rumors concerning the elven slaves that led to the breach of the imposed treaty. This situation would elevate tensions with their kingdom and other nations, thus requiring them to uncover the truth without delay. She also notes the backlash from the elves themselves, and Sect adds that the other nations would hold them accountable. Consequently, King Carlon tasks Uriarna with traveling to Limbold to negotiate any tensions that may have arisen there and concludes the meeting. Alone in the room, Carlon reflects on how the situation has turned into a significant mess. Ark and the group traverse a thick forest, and Ark opts to utilize Dimension Move to scout ahead, ultimately tumbling down a small cliff by a gently flowing stream. They resolve to set up camp there, and that night Danka dispatches a whisper bird to convey a message to Ariane, informing her that the elves they saved are under his protection. Ark then inquires about the distance remaining until they arrive at their destination, Lalatoya, to which Ariane replies that they should reach it within 2 nights. As Ariane is still hungry, Ark departs to hunt a boar, leaving Ariane to pass the time with Ponta. Upon returning to the camp with a freshly caught boar, Ark discovers Ariane snuggling with Ponta. In light of this, Ark intends to share some cuddle time with Ponta, causing Ariane to feel very embarrassed. Sometime later in Olav, Uriarna is brought tea by her maid Ferna. As she prepares to sip it, she expresses her suspicions that her brother Dakaris is involved in the elf trade scandal, and that Sect will pursue him regarding it. Ferna then asserts that either Sect or Uriarna will claim the throne, but Uriarna cautions her against speaking so recklessly. According to Uriarna, the priority should be the negotiations with the elves in Limbold, and nothing beyond that. Ferna acknowledges this, and states that she will get to see her sister Seriarna again, which brings Uriarna joy. Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane reach their destination, Lalatoya. Ariane asks to be allowed entry, and to have a meeting with the elder. The village gate opens, and Ariane requests that Ark wait for her outside until her return. Ark stays outside the gate until evening, until he is finally permitted inside, and follows Ariane to the elder's residence, where he appreciates the village's scenery. At the elder's home, Ark and Ariane are greeted by the elder and his spouse, Dilantag Lalatoya, and Glennis Alna Lalatoya, who are both Ariane's parents. Dillian expresses his gratitude to Ark for all he has done for the elven village, but he does admonish Ariane for her assault on Triton's manor. Ark then contributes to the conversation, and, within their home, fully explains the situation to Dillian. Grasping the issue at hand, Dillian states that he will notify the other elders in Maple to alert them about the trafficking contract that was discovered. After detailing the situation, Glennis comes in with dinner, but Ark is apprehensive about eating due to his condition. However, it is revealed that Glennis and Dillian are already aware of Ark's condition, and he is permitted to eat the food without concern. The next morning, Ark awakens and discovers from Glennis that Ariane and Dillian have already departed. Glennis then provides Ark with a tour of the village and shares some of the village's history with him. 2 young girls approach Ark to thank him for saving them from the slavers. Apologizing to Glennis for his distraction, she tells Ark that it is fine and requests to spar with him. Meanwhile, Ariane and Dylan listen to the elders' discussion regarding how to handle the humans who have violated the 400-year treaty concerning the enslavement of elves. The conclusion of the debate is reached by Elder Brian Bond Evangeline Maple, who proposes they observe the Rodent Kingdom's reaction to the assault on the Lord's Manor. Back with Ark, he spars with Glennis, who swiftly overpowers him with her sword skills during their sparring session. As Ariane and Dylan exit the elders' gathering, Ariane formally apologizes to her father regarding the outcome of the meeting. Nevertheless, Dylan reassures her that the conclusion could have been more favorable, but also worse. However, Dylan expresses regret about not having the chance to meet Even while they were there and informs Ariane that Even is to be married next year. This news disturbs Ariane, as her sister's temperament is similar to that of a battle maniac. Suddenly, Even appears and tackles Ariane to the ground in a hug. Despite witnessing his daughter's clear distress caused by her sister's antics, Dylan leaves them, and they soon discuss Ariane's recent achievement and Even's forthcoming marriage. Back to Ark once more, he completes his spar training with Glennis, and later relishes a calming bath with Ponta. Eventually, Ariane returns home and prepares to take a bath, only to discover Ark already inside, prompting her to act cautiously. Subsequently, before their meal, Dylan updates Ark on the current situation as determined by the elders. He also enlists Ark to track down the names listed on the contract while freeing any elves he comes across. Acknowledging that the compensation for the job would be insufficient, Dylan negotiates with Ark and offers him information on how to lift his curse as a substitute for his payment. Dylan then alerts Ark to a magical spring located near Lord Crown that can erase curses. However, it is also a domain inhabited by the Dragon Lord, and compounding the danger are the spirit animals residing in the vicinity. Due to the dangers it presents to a human, an elf must serve as a mediator to gain access there. Ark agrees to this compensation, but internally observes how his curse was a role-playing matter. Ariane then asserts her intention to accompany Ark on his quest, and Ark agrees to the mission. In bed, Ark reflects on whether his skeletal avatar is a curse or not. Nevertheless, if his condition were indeed a curse, he could eliminate it using one of his spells. Yet, spells like those harm the undead and could potentially hurt him. Ark casts Uncurse on himself to evaluate this hypothesis, and to his surprise, it succeeds without causing any damage. The results are unfortunately fleeting. The group soon exits the woods they followed and arrives at a little pond where giant dragonflies used to reside. Ark is immediately attacked by the giant dragonflies, who pursue him as he attempts to escape them. Ark confesses to Ariane in a local tavern that he is terrified of insects, and the two talk about their next trip through the next forest while they eat. Because of the monsters known as haunted wolves that infest the forest, their waitress warns them against taking that path. Knowing that Ariane wants to go through the forest so they can save the elves more quickly, both Ark and Ponta agree to follow her there. Uriarna and her attendant Ferna boarded their horse-drawn carriage the next day at Olaf. To maintain a high speed and get to the Grand Duchy of Limbolt as quickly as possible, they plan to reunite with their guards halfway in the nearby forest. An elusive figure was secretly keeping an eye on them from the shadows. Returning to Ark's gang, they approach the location where the haunted wolves are rumored to be. Next, Ariane discusses how the monster's tail fur is used to create veils, which are lovely presents for prospective brides. She next mentions that her sister will be married soon, and Ark speculates that she wants the tail fur to make a wedding gift for her sister. The majority of the haunted wolves' attacks are illusions they create, and they strike at that point. They both hold their own against the haunted wolves, and Ark quickly identifies the pack's leader. When Ark faces the pack leader, he notices that it has a similar ring attached to its leg as the one he previously discovered on a giant basilisk. Ark is able to remove the ring from the pack leader, which allows it to regain control of itself and summon its pack members to reunite with it and depart. Ariane is reunited with Ark and learns from him about the rings he discovered on the haunted wolf and giant basilisk, which had previously assaulted them. Following that explanation, they take a short break so Ariane may collect the fur from the tail of a dead haunted wolf. At the same time, Uriarna's carriage moves through the woods as she reveals her views on the task her father assigned to her. She is well aware that her brother Dakaris is the ringleader in charge of the elven slaves and that her other brother Sect would let things happen without intervening. At that moment, the carriage begins to shake, and two of the outside guards yell that they are being attacked. Ariane gets ready to skin the tail fur off the wolves as she returns to Ark's party, while Ponta moves towards a commotion he hears in the distance. Ariane remains behind to get the wolf's tail fur ready, while Ark follows him. One of 6 masked attackers killed both Uriarna and Ferna at Uriarna's carriage, and one of Uriarna's guards was an accomplice. At that moment, Ark follows Ponta to the area. While Ark is examining Uriarna and Ferna, the attackers begin firing several fire beretta and rock shots at him, but Ark is immune to these assaults. As he evaluates whether or not he should use a spell to bring back Ferna and Uriarna, Ark is taken aback by the fact that the haunted wolves from earlier assaulted the attackers. They manage to kill a few of them while the others flee the scene, with Ark helping in the assault. After everything was resolved, the wolves departed, and Ark chose to use regeneration on Uriarna, Ferna, and as many of her guards as he could. Uriarna briefly regains consciousness during this, believing Ark to be an angel. Uriarna, waking up from her unconscious condition thanks to Ferna, discovers from her that somehow they and the majority of their guards have been healed. She tells her remaining guard forces that their comeback is a miracle from God. Uriarna gives the announcement from a distance, as seen by the Ark, then rejoins Ariane, who has completed her personal mission, and they proceed. They eventually arrive in Olav, where the ninja girl easily handles the confrontation between a young woman and three enraged guys.